and welcome to Quizzical Nature Trivia, where everything is trivia and trivia is everything. My name is Brian, and I am joined each and every week, as I usually am, by my co-host Corey.
Hello, thanks for listening again on our basketball-themed episode this week. Quick rundown of how this podcast is going to work. We'll start out with a little back-and-forth trivia between the hosts, keeping a running score. With me being the champ, obviously, we restart. Then we move into our questions from the listener section. Follow that with a guest portion from the so-so Kyle. And wrapping up, we will give you the answer from last week's final question, as well as give you a new question to think about this week.
All right, let's get started with the questions between your hosts.
Let's kick off our question between the host section with a quick rundown of how this portion works. We have compiled 10 questions apiece, 5 in strength categories, 5 in challenging categories. 5 points will be awarded for a correct answer in the strength category, with 10 points being awarded in the challenging categories. And with myself retaining the champion title, and obviously being the champ here between the two hosts, we will reset this week at 0-0. So, Brian, would you like to kick us off with a question?
I would love to kick us off with a question. We will go to a 5-point question under television shows. On the show How I Met Your Mother, Ted and Marshall like to go to Harlem Globetrotter games. They also root for the opposing team. What is the name of the team they root for?
It's the Generals, correct?
It is the Generals.
All right.
5 points awarded to Corey. The Harlem Globetrotters were originally called the Chicago Globetrotters when they began in 1926, but switched to the New York Harlem Globetrotters the year after, before dropping the New York part the year after that.
That's some good background. I had no idea on that one.
I didn't either, but learn something new every day.
That's right.
I've been to a Harlem Globetrotters game.
That's
very
right.
fun.
That's right.
Sat courtside. It was great.
All right, we will kick off Brian's section here with a 5-point lyrics question. Finish the lyric for the Lil Wayne song, Kobe Bryant. Practice while you sleep. Practice in my sleep. Straight out of high school. Blank, 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 blank.
I have honestly no idea.
That's disappointing for you with Lil Wayne. It is The Brackets Ain't For Me.
I get it.
Yeah, obviously with the straight out of high school. Yeah, the brackets for
brackets
the NCAA.
For NCAA.
Yep.
That makes sense.
So 0 points for Brian on that one.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to a 10-point records question for Corey.
Like records is an album or record set?
Record set.
Okay.
Who has the most blocks in NBA history? I'll give you your a fun fact here while Corey's thinking. Dwight Howard is the highest active total, but he isn't even in the top 10 and is still 1,779 blocks behind first. Pau Gasol is also on the list.
I would not have guessed
I did not guess it either, and then I saw Pau. Mark is not on, but Pau is.
No, Mark doesn't sit underneath the hoop like Pau does. Never did. I'm going to go ahead and say Kareem.
It is not. It is Hakeem the Dream.
It is a dream? Oh, okay.
It is the Dream.
I think I'm in that one.
Yeah. I believe Kareem is third behind
Is Bill?
Dikembe.
All right, no points for me on that one. We'll go to a 10-point stats for you. Who holds the record for most assists?
That's John Stockton.
It is Johnny Stockton.
That is John Stockton. If we're going to do John Stockton questions, I have a history question for you.
Is the answer John Stockton?
It is not.
Okay, good.
So I have your 10-point history question here. Steve Nash was chasing John Stockton's record for career assists in his final years of playing. Within 10, how many assists did Steve Nash finish with?
12,640.
No. 10,335.
That's Yeah. Wow.
Nash finished with one more assist than Magic Johnson, placing him third behind Jason Kidd and in second, and John Stockton with 15,806 assists. Even in second, Kidd still is 3,000 assists away from Stockton.
Yeah, that's an insane amount.
Yes. It's one of the everyone talks about like Wilt's records being broken, but that one is untouchable.
But Wilt has so many that will never be touched just because nobody's going to play that
If
game.
you play for 10 years and you average 20 assists a game, you will beat John Stockton's record. That's the only way you beat it, is you average 20 assists.
Or you play 20 years and do 10 a game.
Yep.
Basically get a double-double a night for 20 years.
Yeah. Andre Drummond has something to say about that.
Yeah, except his doubles are not assists.
No, they're rebounds and
points.
But, I mean, he does it almost every game.
Yeah. He's a dying breed. All right, we'll go back to a 5-pointer for you. Which former NBA player teamed up with Hulk Hogan to defeat Diamond Dallas Page and Karl Malone at the 1998 WCW Bash at the Beach?
98? They beat Karl Malone. I want to say Dennis Rodman?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, so staying with the narrative of the NBA, the match ended with a member of the Bulls beating a member of the Jazz.
Yeah.
Just
That's fair.
Pretty true to the 90s.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right,
Speaking of John Stockton.
Yeah. That brings Brian to a lead of 15-5.
We'll move on to a 5-point sports question for Corey. When was the 3-point line introduced?
72?
79. It was Larry
Yeah.
Bird and Magic Johnson's rookie year.
Yeah, I knew it was 70s, but that's as far as I got.
The NCAA didn't add the 3-point line until 1986. So a full 7 years later.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know the year on that one, to be honest. All right, we will go to a math question for you. Which NBA team has the worst win-loss percentage of all time in the regular season?
They have the worst win-loss. Part of me wants to say my team.
So, the fun fact for you, the San Antonio Spurs come in as the league's all-time winningest regular season team at 622, and they're the only team above 600. I mean, they're full 30 points ahead of the next closest.
Pop doesn't mess around.
No, he does not. All he does is win.
No matter what.
Got money on my mind.
Didn't they have the record for most winning seasons right now?
Yes.
Consistent winning seasons. I think it's like 15 or 16 years.
It's stupid. I mean, it's kind of like the Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre thing when you're handed David Robinson right into Tim
Duncan,
yeah, and then surrounded by amazing foreign-born players.
Yeah. I'm going to have to say it would probably be the Phoenix Suns.
Incorrect. You should have gone with
It was my team.
It is
the Minnesota Timberwolves.
It is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yep.
The losingest as far as record goes in the regular season of all time.
Yeah. Well, we've only been a team for 20 years? 30 maybe?
Percentages don't matter on
most
that.
No, it really doesn't. Most of the time it's we're either rebuilding or falling away from our big stars.
Yes. All right. Yeah, should have stuck with your gut on that one.
I mean, my answer probably wasn't the worst answer ever. Phoenix Suns have been pretty bad for a while.
I'm pretty sure they're right down on the bottom, too.
I mean, the 7 seconds or less Suns are pretty good.
Yeah.
With Nash. Getting Nash to get point. So let's move to a 5-point movies question for you. Which of these basketball movies are rated highest on the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter? Coach Carter, Love and Basketball, Like Mike, and Space Jam.
It's gotta be Space Jam.
It is Love and Basketball. It had an 82%.
Well, that's just a rigged statistic. Cause
Coach Carter, wait till I get to the end. Wait till I get to the end. Coach Carter has a 64%. Like Mike has a 57%, and Space Jam has a 43%.
That's terrible. That is just terrible.
All 4 movies came out within a span of 9 years, from 96 to 2005.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's a busted question. I mean, the question's good. The Rotten Tomatoes meter is just terrible. All right, well, we will then go back to a 5-pointer for you. In the NBA, in the basketball episode here, I had to scour some specificity to get an obscure rule for you. Is it legal to guard a player by standing in front of them and try to block their line of sight by putting your hand up near their eyes?
How close am I when I'm doing this?
What do you mean?
Like, how close are you to the... Does it say how close?
No.
I'm going to say no, it's not legal.
It is legal, but only from the front.
Yeah.
From the backside, it is considered face or eye guarding and is and sportsmanlike, resulting in a personal foul.
Okay. I didn't know. I should have said yes because the basketball players do the hand in the face all the time.
And that's why I made sure to say near their eyes and not touching, because anytime you touch, I mean, it's a reach. Yeah.
Every time you touch them, it's a foul. All right, that was a great question.
We get this feeling.
And every time we kiss, I swear I could fly.
Caca, caca. All right, go back to your
team question here. 10-point teams question. What team has more titles? The New York Knicks or the Philadelphia 76ers?
Now, is this NBA only?
NBA only.
So not the ABA. I have to say the Sixers.
It is the Sixers. Okay. 3-2. They have both lost 6 games in the finals, though. There's 6 times in the finals. As well as at least one of the two being in the finals from 1950 to 1955.
So that was a 10-point? Or
that was a 10-point question.
All right, that brings us to a tie at 15 apiece. Ooh. With Brian having a science question worth 10 to try and reclaim a 10-point victory again. Or a 10-point lead again. The modern basketball is made of isobutyl rubber and what types of threads for rigidity?
What types of threads?
There's 2 types it can be made of. Just need to name one of them.
I don't know, nylon?
Correct.
Let's go.
The first basketball was manufactured in 1894 and was made from laced leather and used until 1948. Until they went to the modern isobutyl rubber and nylon or polyester threads.
Ooh. What a guess.
Good job. 25 to 15, Brian.
We'll go to your science question here.
Science.
For 5 points. Basketballs have little bumps all over them. This is called pebbling. Why were they added to the basketball?
For grip.
I'll give you that. It's to increase friction.
Yeah.
Yep. When forces collide, friction naturally slows things down over time. And the more points of contact an object has with another surface, the more friction comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
So these bumps were on the basketball basically to increase the surface area of the basketball and the amount of friction acting on it. This makes the pebbling ball ideal for players to grip, pass quickly, and dribble without fear of the ball slipping away in a random direction.
Yeah, that was a big problem they had when I was looking at my science question. Was they originally had used a soccer ball for the first 4 or 5 years in existence before they went to laced leather, and the soccer ball would bounce very erratically. So even when you had a nice shot, without having that pebbling or any sort of grip on there, it would slide off. All right, we'll lead into a 5-point superheroes question for you.
Mm-hmm.
On a cover of a November 1, 2010 ESPN The Magazine, LeBron was depicted as Captain America, Kobe was Iron Man, and which player was Thor? While Brian thinks that over. Within that November issue, all NBA teams were sketched out to parody iconic Marvel comic scenes.
I'm going to go with Dirk Nowitzki.
Incorrect.
Ooh.
It is KD.
KD, really?
Mm-hmm.
They missed an opportunity.
Yes, they did.
Dirk? That's a great... especially, I think in 2010 he had his long hair, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe it was just so recently he cut it.
Yeah. So, that missed an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to your 10-point rules question here.
All right.
The NBA has gone through many rule changes in the past to make the game more enjoyable. These rules include the 3-point line and the shot clock. In which year did they implement the